In the coming months, thousands of restaurants across America will shut down for good. And we're not talking about mom-and-pop diners. We're talking about giants that once dominated the dining scene. Names that are etched into American memory. Red Lobster, Applebees, even Salt Bay's infamous gold-covered steak chain are slowly fading into oblivion. A mass extinction in the restaurant world has begun. And if you think you'll still be able to enjoy your favorite BBQ ribs next year, you might be in for a shock, because right now we're about to uncover 10 of the biggest restaurant chains in America that may vanish in 2025. And the reason behind it? It's not just about money, it's the collapse of an entire way of American life that no longer fits the times. Number 1. Subway. Try to remember. When was the last time you ate at Subway? For many Americans, especially working class folks and students, Subway used to be the least bad option, fast, convenient, and a little less greasy than burgers or pizza. But now Subway is no longer a familiar stop. It's quietly vanishing from the American map. And this isn't just speculation. In the past 5 years alone, Subway has shuttered over 4,000 locations in the US. From a peak of more than 27,000 in 2015, down to roughly 20,000 by the end of 2024. And that number keeps dropping by the month. Why? There are too many reasons to count. But here are the 3 knockout punches. 1. The healthy menu is outdated. Today's American consumers care more about fresh ingredients, clean sourcing, and transparency, but Subway still relies on canned vegetables, processed meats, and tired formulas. What used to be called fresh now feels like a joke. 2. Years of bad press. From the not legally bred scandal in Ireland to the disgrace of brand ambassador Jared Fogel's conviction for child exploitation, Subway's reputation has taken hit after hit. And as you probably know, once Americans lose trust, they rarely give it back. 3. Cutthroat competition. Upstarts like Jersey Mike's, Firehouse Subs, and even Panera Bread have done what Subway never could: modernize, stay transparent, and create a friendlier, more inviting dining experience. Meanwhile, Subway clings to outdated service models, tired decor, worn-out employees, and sandwiches that just keep getting smaller. And there's one more thing, even though Subway was sold to investment firm. Roark Capital in 2023 hopes for a comeback are dim. Not a single founder is still involved. The giant machine is drifting like the Titanic, sinking fast with no one at the helm. So the question now is, will Subway even survive through 2025? Or will all we have left be memories of long, soggy sandwiches hastily thrown together in a shop that's now permanently closed? Number 2. Hooters. Picture this: you're driving past a small suburban shopping strip and spot a faded, sun-bleached Hooters sign above dusty windows. There's no crowd, no buzz. Just the quiet shell of a brand stuck in another era. Maybe it's time to say it out loud. America is turning its back on Hooters. Once upon a time, Hooters wasn't just a place to grab wings. It was a packaged version of the male fantasy: attractive women in tight outfits, cold beer, and sports blasting from wall-sized TVs. But this is 2025, not 1995, and Hooters, it never evolved. According to data from Technomic, Hooters' U.S. restaurant count has dropped from around 430 locations in 2012 to fewer than 280 by 2024, and the closures keep coming. In just the past 2 years, at least 40 locations have shut down for good, including branches in major cities like Chicago, Houston, and San Diego. But here's the more chilling truth: customers simply aren't coming back. A 2023 Statista survey showed that over 60% of Americans aged 18-34 said they felt uncomfortable or put off by Hooters' suggestive marketing concept. They don't want to dine in a space that makes their girlfriends or wives feel objectified. Today's younger diners are looking for experience, not eye candy, and even if we set aside the visual marketing, Hooters' food isn't exactly winning hearts either. According to Business Insider, the chain's menu has an average Yelp rating of just 2.9 out of 5 across the 3 most populous states, a dangerously low score in a brutally competitive food industry. Meanwhile, rivals like Twin Peaks and Tilted Kilt brands built on a similar restaurant model have already reinvented themselves with upgraded menus, refreshed interiors, and a shift towards sports. Bar craft beer culture to attract both middle-aged fans and the Gen Z crowd. But Hooters. It's still clinging to its old formula, and that loyalty is dragging it underwater. Perhaps the saddest part is this: Hooters isn't just losing customers. It's losing its place in American cultural memory. A new generation didn't grow up with Hooters. They have no nostalgia, no reason to care, and even less reason to fight for its survival. A brand that was once iconic is slowly becoming a relic. Number 3. Red Lobster. Red Lobster was once the very definition of affordable luxury. For many working-class American families, it was where you took your spouse to celebrate an anniversary, where parents treated their kids after graduation. A name synonymous not with wealth, but with reward, a rare treat for those working 5 or 6 days a week. But now even that modest reward is slipping away. Red Lobster is teetering on the brink of collapse, and its downfall isn't just the end of a restaurant chain, it's a stark warning that the simple joys once accessible to the working class are vanishing one by one. According to financial disclosures from Thai Union Group, the Thailand-based company that owns a majority stake in Red Lobster, the chain lost over $33 million in the first quarter of 2024 alone, and is now considering closing hundreds of locations in a desperate attempt to stem the bleeding. What's driving this crisis? The list is long. The cost of key ingredients, especially lobster and crab, has skyrocketed over the past 2 years. Add to that rampant inflation, rising wages, and soaring rent, and suddenly that iconic $20 endless shrimp deal has become a liability instead of a lure. Worse still, the chain's core customer base is disappearing. According to a 2023 survey by FSR magazine, Red Lobster has lost over 30% of its repeat diners compared to pre-pandemic times. Some no longer have the disposable income. Others simply don't find Red Lobster's offerings compelling in a dining landscape that now favors fresh, local, and experiential. The result? Dining rooms that once glowed with Friday night buzz now sit eerily quiet. The lights are still on, but the seats are cold. From New Jersey to Arizona, for lease signs are going up on locations that were once proud anchors of local shopping centers. People aren't avoiding Red Lobster because they don't love it. They're avoiding it because they can't afford it. In the broader picture of today's America, where working people are being priced out of home ownership, healthcare, and education, the loss of a weekend seafood dinner feels like one more blow to their dignity. Red Lobster was never just a restaurant. It was a symbol of a different America, one where the working class could still enjoy a good meal without fearing financial ruin. And if the chain collapses entirely in 2025, as many analysts now predict, it won't just be another business casualty. It will be a melancholy note in the growing symphony of economic instability sweeping across the country. Number 4. Applebees. When was the last time you stopped by an Applebees? No special occasion. Just a regular Friday night, you're tired after a long week, and all you want is something familiar. A place where you could order a Bourbon Street steak, sip a few Long Islands, and laugh with friends. Family or coworkers, Applebees was never a fine dining destination, but it used to be America's friendly neighborhood restaurant, a comforting constant in a rapidly changing world. And now that neighbor is quietly packing up and moving away. In 2023 alone, Applebee's shuttered over 46 locations across the U.S., and according to the CEO of Dine Brands, the chain's parent company, another 25 to 35 closures are expected in 2025, as shrinking profit margins make survival harder by the day. But it's not just about declining sales. Applebee's is a textbook casualty of the seismic shift in how Americans eat out today. As prices surge and household budgets tighten, people are forced into one of two camps: either cook at home to save money or splurge on high-end dining that feels truly worth it. Mid-tier chains like Applebee's, they're caught in no man's land. According to data from Technomic, customer return rates at Applebee's have fallen by nearly 20% since the pandemic, and the majority of remaining loyal patrons are over 45, a demographic aging out of frequent dining and spending. Meanwhile, younger generations, millennials, and Gen Z just don't see the appeal. Fast, convenient, Instagrammable food options dominate their dining habits. To them, Applebee's feels outdated in both menu and atmosphere, and that's where the great unraveling begins: the casual dining model. Once the pride of middle-class America is crumbling, Applebee's used to be everywhere in small towns, near schools, hospitals, and neighborhoods. It felt like an extension of the community. But today, in more and more places, that familiar red neon sign no longer lights up the night. When an Applebee's closes, it's not just another restaurant gone, it's a symbol of the social divide, a reminder that working-class gathering spaces can't survive in an era of rising costs and shifting tastes. With nowhere to gather, to share, to eat affordably, people retreat inward, and in doing so, they feel increasingly isolated even in the heart of their own communities. If this downward spiral continues, Applebee's may soon be just another name on the growing list of brands that were once symbols of American life, and now just fading memories. Number 5. Salt Bae. This was never the kind of restaurant you'd swing by after a long day at work, and the truth is, 99% of Americans will never step foot in a Salt Bae restaurant. Why? Because at his place, a single slice of signature salted Wagyu beef can cost you $1,000 a burger, $120. And if you're craving that 24-karat gold-covered steak, get ready to drop $1,500 before tip. Yet for a brief, glittering moment, Nusret, the restaurant empire of Salt Bae, exploded onto the world stage. Social media was flooded with videos of the man in dark sunglasses theatrically sprinkling salt like he was performing ballet celebrities' athletes, and the ultra-wealthy lined up to be overcharged for the sake of a flashy, extravagant dining performance. But the bubble has burst in the U.S. Nusret locations in New York. Miami and Las Vegas have started to struggle. Since 2023, review platforms like Yelp and Google have seen ratings plummet, with customers complaining, "Sky-high prices, rock-bottom service." According to the Financial Times, American locations were forced to lay off staff, shrink their menus, and in some cases saw revenue drop by as much as 40% within just a year. The media coined a name for it, the Salt Bae burnout. A public that once marveled at the show has grown tired of the flamboyance, tired of the excess, and increasingly aware of the disconnect between spectacle and reality. And here's the painful truth: when working Americans are skipping breakfast to save money, when food prices have surged to 150% of pre-pandemic levels, a dining concept built exclusively for the ultra-rich begins to feel not just out of place, but offensive. Salt Bae wasn't just selling food, he was selling a fantasy of luxury that 99% of Americans could never afford. But once that dream was revealed to be hollow tone-deaf and borderline ridiculous, people abandoned it without a second thought. While the brand may still survive in places like Dubai, London, or Istanbul in the U.S., Nusret is fading fast like a balloon stretched too thin in a cracked economy. The show is over. The final salt sprinkle may already have taken place. Number 6. The Cheesecake Factory. If you've ever set foot in a major American mall, chances are you've seen or dined at the Cheesecake Factory. It's long been a symbol of indulgent dining, an enormous 6-page menu, generous portions, and those legendary slices of cheesecake that feel like a sweet reward. But today, if you ask Cheesecake Factory's once loyal customers whether they're still willing to splurge on a meal there, the answer might surprise you. Why? Because the reality is these costs keep climbing while incomes for many American families are struggling to keep up. In an era of persistent inflation, dining at the Cheesecake Factory is no longer the casual luxury it used to be. Today, a typical dinner for two can easily run $50–$60 before tip a tall order for families already stretched thin by rising living expenses. According to a National Restaurant Association survey between 2018 and 2023, Cheesecake Factory lost over 20% of its customer traffic compared to faster, more affordable chains, while places like Chipotle or Panera Bread offer quick, streamlined meals that appeal to modern consumers. The Cheesecake Factory faces tough competition in a market obsessed with speed and convenience, but the issue goes beyond just price. Its massive 250-item menu, once seen as a strength, now overwhelms many diners, leaving them confused, fatigued, or simply uninspired. It's quantity without novelty, a glut of choices that no longer feel special. And then there's the space, once viewed as an upscale yet accessible dining spot. Cheesecake Factory's ambiance is no longer unique. Today, smaller local restaurants offer stylish, Instagram-worthy settings and creative menus, often at lower prices. For modern diners, especially younger ones, these independent spots feel fresher, cooler, and more worth their money. After all, why pay a premium for a meal that feels like thousands of other meals when you could grab something quick, tasty, and affordable instead? The combination of high prices and an oversized, outdated menu has become a liability for the Cheesecake Factory in an American economy that's evolving rapidly. As diners grow more cost-conscious and value-driven brands built on extravagance and excess risk being left behind. To be fair, the Cheesecake Factory still holds a beloved place in American dining culture, but the real question is, can it hold on to that position as Americans increasingly seek more accessible, streamlined, and affordable dining experiences? The answer will unfold in the years ahead as the world continues to change, and nostalgia is no longer enough. Number 7. Buffalo Wild Wings. Buffalo Wild Wings, better known as B-dubs, was once the go-to destination for game nights, beers, and spicy wings with friends. But now what used to be a must-visit hangout is slowly being left behind, and the question is clear. Why is this once beloved chain teetering on the edge of collapse in 2025? To find the answer, we need to look at shifting consumer habits. For years, Buffalo Wild Wings thrived on a simple formula: beer wings, sports. But America's mindset has changed, especially among Gen Z and millennials. More and more, today's consumers are opting for healthier, cleaner, and more mindful eating choices. High-calorie, greasy meals with little nutritional value are falling out of favor. According to a report by Statista since 2018, Buffalo Wild Wings revenue has dropped by roughly 15%, a red flag for a brand built on indulgence. So why are customers turning away? One reason is the rise of better alternatives. Fast casual chains like Chipotle and Panera Bread have exploded in popularity by offering fresh, healthy meals at accessible prices. Their menus are quick, flavorful, and better aligned with the lifestyles of modern diners who prioritize speed, nutrition, and simplicity. And what about the atmosphere? Buffalo Wild Wings built its identity around loud TVs, packed dining rooms, and live sports energy, but not everyone's into that anymore. Today, many Americans prefer calm, relaxing spaces to unwind after work, not chaotic bars where shouting over the noise is part of the experience. For some, a night out at B-dubs now feels more draining than fun. Another major factor, rising costs. Buffalo Wild Wings isn't cheap, and as the U.S. economy struggles with inflation and soaring living expenses, many customers are opting for more affordable alternatives. In 2022, a typical dinner for two at B-dubs could run $30, $40, while comparable meals at competitors like Wingstop or Zaxby's might only cost $20, $25. That price gap is steering customers elsewhere. So how can Buffalo Wild Wings survive this storm? The chain needs a major business model overhaul, starting with a revamped menu that includes healthier options, more variety, and better price points. But change like that takes time. Something B-dubs may not have much of, especially in a market where consumer tastes are shifting faster than ever. The reality is Buffalo Wild Wings isn't just battling other chains, it's battling a new cultural mindset where diners want fun, affordable meals that don't compromise on health or atmosphere. Once the default place for wings in the big game, Buffalo Wild Wings is now just one of many options. And if it doesn't evolve fast, it may soon become just another forgotten name in the brutal race that is America's restaurant industry. Number 8. Taco Bell. Taco Bell, with its affordable, fast, and convenient tacos, has long been a staple of late-night cravings for millions of Americans. But the question now is, can Taco Bell maintain its position in an industry where consumers are becoming increasingly demanding, not just about price, but also about health? Mention Taco Bell, and most people instantly think of colorful, quick meals at unbeatable prices. But beneath the surface, the brand is facing serious challenges as American tastes evolve at a rapid pace. One of the biggest forces working against Taco Bell is the dramatic shift in American eating habits. While many still enjoy the chain's flavorful fast food, a growing number of consumers are now prioritizing meals that are not only cheap, but also healthy. Both Gen Z and millennials are leading this movement, becoming increasingly mindful of diet, nutrition, and wellness. And while Taco Bell once thrived by offering rich, indulgent dishes loaded with flavor and fat, today's fast casual giants like Chipotle and Panera Bread are winning customers by going in the opposite direction: fresh, wholesome, and balanced. So the big question, can Taco Bell compete in a world where low-calorie and nutrient-dense meals are the new standard? The numbers suggest it's getting harder. Despite holding on to its spot in the fast food hierarchy, Taco Bell's growth is slowing. According to Technomic, Taco Bell's revenue in 2023 increased by only 3% compared to the previous year, a modest figure when stacked against fast-rising competitors like Chipotle or Chick-fil-A, whose growth far outpaced it. In response, Taco Bell has made some attempts to adapt, experimenting with vegetarian, vegan, and gluten-free options, but so far the changes have felt more tentative than transformative, and haven't fully resonated with the new wave of health-conscious consumers. Another looming challenge is Taco Bell's low-price model. While cheap eats have always been its strength, the reality is that rising production costs and ongoing inflation make it harder than ever to maintain low prices without sacrificing quality. This forces the brand to rethink its entire development strategy. How do you stay affordable while staying relevant? So does Taco Bell have what it takes to weather the storm? It won't be easy. To survive, Taco Bell will need to rebuild its menu, delivering meals that are both delicious and nutritious, all while preserving the speed and convenience that made it iconic in the first place. Fail to do that, and Taco Bell could easily fall off the radar for modern consumers looking for meals that are quick, healthy, and valuable. In the end, we may see a very different Taco Bell, one that moves away from greasy indulgence and embraces a smarter, fresher identity. But the bigger question is, will they evolve fast enough before it's too late? Number 9. IHOP. When you think of IHOP, it's impossible not to picture fluffy pancakes drenched in syrup and those legendary breakfast platters that generations of Americans have grown up loving. But in an era of shifting lifestyles, rising fast casual chains, and an increasing demand for healthier food choices, the question becomes clear. Can IHOP hold on to its place in the American dining landscape? IHOP was once the gold standard of the all-American breakfast, but times are changing and so are people's breakfast habits. Growth in the fast food industry is no longer driven by sugar-laden treats or butter-soaked pancakes. Instead, today's diners are paying more attention to calories, sugar intake, and dietary preferences, including vegetarian and vegan options. According to a report by the National Restaurant Association, consumption of classic breakfast items like pancakes has dropped 44% over the past 5 years. That spells trouble for IHOP, a brand once synonymous with pancake perfection. And although the company has tried to pivot, adding salads, smoothies, and other lighter options to its menu, it seems those changes haven't been enough to recapture the hearts and stomachs of modern consumers. IHOP also faces structural challenges rooted in its traditional dine-in business model. Most of its locations remain standalone sit-down restaurants, unlike newer fast casual competitors like Chick-fil-A or Shake Shack, which operate with lower overhead and greater flexibility. With rising inflation and labor costs, maintaining these older, more expensive-to-run locations has become increasingly unsustainable, and perhaps more importantly, IHOP is no longer the only name in breakfast. Emerging chains like First Watch and Eggs Up Grill are offering not just great-tasting morning meals, but healthier, more mindful menus that better align with current dietary trends. They're appealing not just to taste buds, but to the growing concern for well-being and clean eating. The reality is clear. While IHOP still has a loyal customer base, the brand is under immense pressure. According to IBISWorld, IHOP's revenue fell 6% in 2023, a worrying sign in an industry where many competitors are still managing to post healthy growth. This leads many to wonder about the future of IHOP. Will it manage to evolve and remain relevant, or is it on the same path to decline that's already claimed other once iconic chains? Unless IHOP can modernize its menu and embrace the wellness movement sweeping through the food industry, its long-term survival is anything but certain. Number 10. TGI Fridays. Who doesn't remember those weekend nights gathering with friends at TGI Fridays over oversized burgers and cheerful cocktails in a lively, buzzing atmosphere? But in a world where everything changes by the day, does this once iconic chain still have what it takes to stay relevant? The truth is, TGI Fridays is facing a crisis few saw coming. Founded in 1965, the chain was once a symbol of American dining culture, but now it's grappling with sharp declines in both revenue and foot traffic. According to IBISWorld, TGI Fridays revenue dropped by over 4% in the past year, while competitors like Applebees and Chili's managed to hold steady. This decline suggests that Fridays is no longer the go-to spot for relaxed, friendly meals. And it's not for lack of trying. The chain has rolled out promotions, refreshed its menu, and even revamped its branding. But the results have fallen short. In a rapidly evolving food industry, TGI Fridays has struggled to adapt to modern dining trends. Today's consumers aren't just craving big, greasy, calorie-loaded meals anymore. They want dishes that are lighter, fresher, and more health-conscious. Yet TGI Fridays continues to rely heavily on its traditional staples: burgers, ribs, and fries, items that no longer match the expectations of the modern diner. This disconnect is one reason TGI Fridays can't compete with rising stars like Shake Shack or Sweetgreen, which combine flavor with health, sustainability, and a clear brand identity. If Fridays fails to differentiate itself, especially in terms of menu innovation and customer experience, it could soon become just another nostalgic name in the history books. What's more, operating costs are adding to the pressure. With a wide network of brick-and-mortar locations, TGI Fridays is burdened by overhead expenses that are increasingly hard to justify, particularly amid rising labor costs and persistent inflation. The traditional sit-down restaurant market is oversaturated, and in this landscape, it's tough for Fridays to retain the appeal it once had. While the brand still enjoys a loyal base of longtime customers, it's clear that TGI Fridays must transform if it wants to stay in the game. That means reinventing its menu, redefining its identity, and realigning with today's consumer values. So the question remains, can TGI Fridays reinvent itself in time? Or will it be overtaken by more agile, forward-thinking rivals and become yet another casualty of the modern food revolution? So can these restaurant chains from Salt Bae to TGI Fridays weather the storms they're facing? Or are they destined to become just nostalgic names in the memories of diners? One thing is certain, the food and restaurant industry never stands still. Only the brands that know how to evolve and adapt will survive in this fast-changing landscape. What do you think the future holds for these chains? Will they bounce back or fade into obscurity? Just a quick note. The insights and analysis in this video are for reference only. The status of these restaurant chains may shift over time and can be influenced by various external factors. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Share this video if you found it interesting, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you won't miss any of our upcoming content, packed with bold predictions and surprising insights.